Um, but yeah, thanks for joining me on this Sunday. I'm still teaching the moon sequence. I'll probably teach that for another week. So the rest of April, I think that would take us to Wednesday. Not sure about next Sunday, but that is the moon sequence is a lot of hip opening. It's going through the long edge of your mat. It's kind of mimicking the phases of the moon. So you have your goddess with your full moon, and then you do one thing in one direction, and then you do it in the other direction. So yeah, if you've been here the last couple weeks, that's what I've been working on. But yeah, let's just get started. For this sequence, I've been starting in a seated Shavasana. So a different, but still equally engaging pose. So this is still an engaging pose. You should be grounding down through your sits bones, reaching through the crown of your head to lengthen your spine. Slight tuck of the chin just to elongate through the back line of your body here. You can keep your eyes closed or softened, whatever feels comfortable here. This is still an active posture, even though it is a restful posture. So your shoulders are over your hips, your spine is strength, and feel free to make any of those adjustments as we'll be sitting here for a couple minutes and just grounding down into your space. Yogis, the last couple classes I've been talking about growth and learning what that has meant to me during this quarantine time. I feel like a lot of my self-worth is tied to how productive I feel with the things that I do. And I think a lot of the growth gets lost in the rest. And so this idea that you carve out times for yourself, that you move just as slow as you can fast, or force yourself to find those restorative movements. And that's just as much a part of that growth and productivity here. So sometimes we forget that those baby steps are necessary and needed and just as important. So really pride yourself for making your way onto your mat here today and carving out this time for yourself. Yogis, that was my intention, but if you have a different intention you would like to set, we'll set that here right away in our seated Shavasana. So maybe think of an idea that you have pondered upon, or something that you're working towards, or maybe a person you would like to dedicate your energy and practice to. Whatever that is, bring that to the forefront of your mind, and we'll set it out with an open mouth exhale together, yogis. Exhale everything out to prepare. Take a full inhale, fill up with air. And open mouth exhale, let it go. Beautiful, yogis. I'll be starting my music here. Feel free to listen to whatever feels good on your end, maybe something slow, maybe something with a good beat. As long as you're paused or muted, should be fine. We'll take a seated side stretch here. So if you want to ground one of your palms down, with your other hand, with an inhale, reach up, lengthen through your side body, and then with an exhale, gentle side bend across the midline of your body here. Take a few full breaths in this form. Bring your bicep by your ears, lengthen through your fingertips, stretch your obliques and your shoulder. And then yogi, slowly come back to center. Bring that palm back down. Reach your other hand high. Find the same length with a big inhale. And with your exhale, gentle side bend, seated side bend towards the opposite side, mimicking what we'll be doing in our moon salutation sequence later. Beautiful, yogis. With control, slowly come back to center. Bring both hands down, one hand in front, opposite hand towards your sits bones here. Take a gentle seated spinal twist here. So opening up through your shoulders. You can use your hands on your knees if you'd like a little more of a twist or support or help. And then yogis, slowly come back to center and then twist in the opposite direction. Just really tuning into your body, giving it an honest assessment of how it feels today on this Sunday. And then yogis, slowly come back to center. Bring both soles of your feet to touch. We'll take a butterfly stretch here. So opening up your knees and your hips. And then you can reach your arms out long in front of you, however much feels right here. Bringing your chest, your heart towards your big toes. You can walk in one direction and then the other. This should be a low back stretch as well as a hip opener. And then slowly push yourself up. Yogis, cross at your ankles, pivot forward, find a tabletop position. So readjust so that your shoulders are over your wrists, your hips over your knees, and then find a little bit of movement here. Start to wake up your spine, your hips, your shoulders, and we'll take a couple rounds of cat and cow together here. So find a little bit of stillness. With an inhale, cow pose, fill up with air, expand through your heart and chest. Exhale, cat pose, carve it out, tuck your tailbone. Inhale, cow pose, fill up with air, let your heart shine forward. Exhale, cat pose, chin to chest, push your mat away. Beautiful, yogis. Slowly come back to a neutral tabletop position. With an inhale, curl your toes under. And exhale, downward facing dog, so hips come high. And then pedal it out. Always walk your dog out, so maybe deep bends in one knee and then the other. Or rocking weight forward and back for your shoulders. And then down dogs, slowly come to some stillness. With an inhale, reach your right leg high. Exhale, runner's lunge. Gently guide your foot towards the outside of your hands. You can come on down to your knees or your forearms. It's a deep stretch right away. Whatever feels good for you. Movement, stillness, you can rock weight forward and back or open up your knee to the side. Pivot to the edges of your feet. And then yogis, if you've come on down to your palms, with an inhale, push back up to your palms. With your exhale, find a high plank, so re-engage that back leg and then zip that opposite leg around. Take a full inhale in your high plank position. And with your exhale, downward facing dog, hips come high. We'll take that runner's lunge on the opposite side. So inhale, reach your left leg high. Exhale, runner's lunge. Slowly guide or plant your foot towards the outside of your feet, and you have a handful of breaths here. You've got time to find your edge. You can come on down to your forearms or your knees. Different side of your body maybe requires different things. And yogis, if you've come on down to your forearms, with an inhale, push back up to your palms, re-engage that back leg. And with your exhale, find a high plank position. So square your chest to the mat, both feet meet together. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips come on high. Beautiful, yogis. On your next inhale, reach your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step or guide your foot between your hands. Inhale, crescent moon lunge. Come on down to your knee. Rise up with control. We'll be here in our moon salutation sequence, but we'll set it up strong first. So your feet are in two separate lanes. Your back foot can be tucked or flat, whatever helps stabilize you here, but you should feel this as a slight stretch in that grounded leg. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, seated half splits. Bump your seat back. You can flex or point your front foot, but bring your chest towards your thighs. If you'd like to flow forward and back a couple times, feel free to do so. And then yogis, on your next inhale, come back to that crescent moon. With your exhale, low lunge, plant your hands, re-engage your back leg. Inhale to a high plank. And with an exhale, lower all the way down onto your stomach. We'll take a spine strengthener here in Cobra Pose, so palms underneath your shoulders. With an inhale, Cobra Pose, lift your chest using your low back muscles. Track your gaze in front of you so you lengthen through the back line of your body. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, downward facing chin to get there. Yogis, on your next inhale, reach your left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Step or guide your foot between your hands. Inhale, crescent moon lunge on this side. Come on down to your knee. Rise up using your core. Stack your shoulders over your hips and your front knee over your front ankle. Drop your shoulders out of your ears, so down your back. Beautiful. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, seated half splits. Bump your seat towards your heels. Again, movement or stillness. Feel this as a stretch in your hamstrings. And yogis, on an inhale, come back to center, that crescent moon lunge. With your exhale, low lunge, plant your hands, re-engage that back leg off the mat. Inhale to a high plank, sweep that back leg to meet together, and exhale all the way down. We'll take another round of cobra pose here. So inhale, cobra pose, press into the tops of your feet. Maybe your knees even come off the mat. Little to no weight in your hands. Stress is out of your neck. Remember to breathe. Take a full inhale. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. You can come back through a high plank or a tabletop position. Yogis, take a big inhale here. Big exhale, let it go. Or just on your next inhale, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, or ragdoll pose rather. So step or walk behind your wrists. You can widen your feet if you'd like. Bend your knees any amount. If you want to grab opposite elbows with opposite hands, or maybe interlace your fingers behind your head to help it hang heavy. Definitely feel free to take maybe a chest expansion. But to get into the back line of your body, the backs of our legs, rock weight from your heels to your toes, back and forth, or maybe sway side to side. Beautiful, yogis. If you took an arm variation, swap out your grip to find equal energy and balance in your practice here. Shake your head yes and no, and then yes again. And ragdolls, slowly find some stillness. Release your palms to the mat. Toe heel your feet together. Bend your knees deeply, and on a big inhale, slowly roll up to stand. One vertebra at a time. Head coming up last. When you're at the top, feel free to take some shoulder rolls here. This is equal standing pose or standing at attention. This is where we will start our moon salutation sequence. So usually we do sun salutations with mountain pose and chair pose, and we'll get into that later. But with our moon salutation sequence, we'll be using a prayer grip here. So palms to touch, and then your thumbs almost hug each other. So with an inhale, find arms overhead, so like a mountain pose, but keep that prayer grip here. We're gonna take a standing side bend called half moon bend. So with an inhale, find length. With your exhale, find depth. So gentle half moon bend towards the right, keeping your biceps by your ears. Every inhale should find length, and every exhale should find depth. And remember to breathe. Yogis, slowly with control, guide yourself back to center, preparing opposite side inhales fully. Exhale deeply, gentle side bend or half moon, opposite side. Pressing your hips towards the right, equal weight in your feet. And on an inhale, slowly guide yourself back to center. Yogis, keep your prayer grip here and find a baby back bend. And you can look up. Looking up is a back bend. If you'd like to slowly track your fingertips across the ceiling, lift your heart. Keep your heart and chest lifted. Squeeze your glutes to protect your low back. And then slowly track your fingers back to center. Yogis, come back to center. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, release your hands to the side. This is where we will start our full moon. So pivot towards the long edge of your mat so you have some space here. And with an inhale to prepare, with your exhale, find goddess pose. So goddess pose is very similar to horse pose, a deep bend in your legs. You're opening up your hips here. Push your knees to the pinky toes of your standing feet. Keep your shoulders over your hips so you're not dropping your chest forward, and then almost like cactus arms, but you should feel very strong in this posture. This should feel stable for you. Take a full inhale and stay for your exhale. Yogis, inhale, star pose. Straighten your front legs. Pivot your toes slightly in, but create space with your body, create space with your fingertips. Feel like you're stretching one arm in one direction and then the opposite arm in the other direction. This is your star pose. Yogis, take a full inhale here. Exhale, warrior two, readjust your stance. Find a deep bend in one of your legs. We'll get into both sides, so you can start in whatever direction you would like. But warrior two, both legs are engaged and grounded, pushing through the nice edge of that back foot. Inhale fully. Exhale, extended side angle. We're taking a modified version of this moon salutation sequence. Usually this would be a triangle pose, but we'll do a triangle sequence later. Just starting to be kind to our hips right here. If you would like to use your forearm onto your knees for stability and support, feel free to do so. Yogis, take a full inhale here and stay for your exhale. On your next inhale, rise up, warrior two. And with your exhale, crescent, or prepare for pyramid pose rather. So if you pivot forward, walk in those back toes slightly. Pyramid pose is a more narrow stance, so maybe your feet are in line with one another, or maybe it's a shortened stance. Find that prayer grip above your head as you inhale to prepare. With your exhale, hinge from your hips. Keep your biceps by your ears. Engage your core to protect your back. Keep your right hip forward so your hips are square as you hinge. And pyramid pose is a posture of surrender. Your front knee can be bent any amount. Work on bringing your forehead towards your knee. Beautiful, yogis. You're just there for three. Rise back on up in two. And one. Inhale, rise all the way up with control. Keep those biceps by your ears. Feel that strong back. And with your exhale, find that crescent lunge. So come to the tippy toes of your back feet. Hug up on your hamstring. So really straighten that back leg here. Feel this as a stretch in your right or left thigh. But deep bend in that front knee over front ankle. Inhale here. Exhale, low lunge. Plant your hands down. On an inhale, crescent moon lunge. We've been here before. Come on down to your knee. Rise up with control. Again, a little more of a stretch in that grounded leg, so maybe bump your hips forward slightly. Feel strong in this stable stance, yogis. Take a full inhale. With your exhale, skandasana, so bring your hands to heart center. Pivot on your front feet. Open up your hips. Work on that balance. You can keep your fingertips on the mat, maybe a water bottle or a block. You're working on balancing on one of your feet here. It's a lot of ankle strength rather, but you're opening up that opposite extended leg. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, yogi squat to the middle. So walk towards the center of your mat, readjust. Feel confident and good in this as well. If you'd like to use a block or something underneath your seat, ground down through the four corners of your feet. You can bring your elbows into your knees to press those hips open. Lift your heart towards your thumbs here. Take a full inhale. Exhale, skandasana towards the opposite side. So you're balancing on your other foot. Again, each side of our body looks different. It's gonna feel different. You might be stronger or more unstable on this side, but maybe that other leg is more flexible. Bring your heart towards your thumbs. If you bring your hands to heart center, reach through the crown of your head. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, low lunge, pivot on that grounded foot facing the opposite direction. Inhale, crescent moon lunge. We're going in the opposite direction of everything we just did. Yogis, you can bump your hips forward to feel a stretch in that opposite leg. Shoulders over hips slightly. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, crescent lunge. So tuck those back toes under. Lift with your knees and your quads here. Feet are in two separate lanes. Take a moment to adjust yourself. Nothing is finite. You can be flexible in your stance here. So take a full inhale. Exhale, pivot that back foot down and then walk in towards your front foot. We're preparing for pyramid pose on this side. There's a car right outside my window that their alarm's going off, so if you can hear it, I'm sorry. Find that prayer grip above your head here, yogis. Take a big inhale. Exhale, pyramid pose. Hinge from your hips. Keep your left hip forward, left hip forward. Know that you can adjust your stance at any point. Both feet are grounded. Bring your forehead towards your knee, any amount. This posture of surrender. Yogis, take a big inhale here. Exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, slowly rise up with control. Keep your biceps by your ears. Engage your core to protect your low back. Find control. And with your exhale, warrior two. So readjust your stance, readjust your pelvis here. Pelvis is maybe tilted in the same direction as your back toes are pointed. That's always kind of a good way to think of it. But your shoulders are over your hips, so maybe pull back slightly. We tend to reach forward. Yogis, take a big inhale here. Exhale, extended side angle. So you will reach forward and then tick-tock your arms and use your core to really help lengthen through your ribs here. So your front and your lower, you're lifting towards the ceiling. You can use your forearm on your knee for support. Yogis, on your next inhale, star pose. Rise up, straighten that bent leg, readjust your stance, and find length here. This is our slow flow, so we have time to find or adjust anything. Reach through your fingertips, lift through the crown of your head. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, goddess pose. Bend your knees, readjust your stance, open up your hips. This is back to our full moon. Yogis, take a big inhale here. Stay for your exhale. On your next inhale, sweep forward, standing towards the top of the mat, maybe the opposite side. Yogis, we will do that exact sequence in the opposite direction. We did one way, we have to do the other way. And we'll start with our half moon side bends here. So find that prayer grip up and overhead. Wrap those thumbs around each other, maybe the opposite direction. It might feel a little weird, but either way, inhale, find length. Exhale, gentle side bend or half moon towards the left. On an inhale, come back to center. Exhale, half moon side bend towards the right. Reach through your armpit and shoulders. On an inhale, come back to center. Exhale, baby back bend. Keep that prayer grip. Bump your hips forward. Squeeze your glutes. Protect your low back. Yogis, once you find your edge, slowly come back to center. Lift your heart. Yogis, take a big inhale here. Exhale, bring your hands to your side. Inhale fully. Exhale, goddess pose. Step in the opposite direction. Open up your stance. I'll face the same direction so you can hear me. It might be a little hard if I'm facing the back, but open up. Feel strong and stable. Big inhale here. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, star pose. Straighten your front legs. Find length. Readjust your stance. Take a big inhale fully. Exhale, warrior two to the opposite direction. So maybe the direction you just came. Or that wouldn't make sense. The opposite direction, yes. Inhale fully. Exhale, extended side angle. Tick-tock your arms. Reach towards the ceiling. One long line from the crown of your head to your heel. Yogis, on your next inhale, rise up to warrior two. And with your exhale, pivot for pyramid. So sweep, so your chest is facing the same direction. Walk in that stance. Bump that left hip forward. Find that prayer grip. Inhale fully. Exhales to execute. So hinge from your hips. Dive down with control. Yogis, take a full inhale here. And exhale, just let it go. On an inhale with control, rise on back up to center. Yogis, with your exhale, readjust your stance for a crescent lunge. So maybe widen your stance slightly. Heel, hip alignment, maybe a little wider if that's okay. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, low lunge, plant your hands, hinge from your hips. Inhale, crescent moon lunge. Come on down to that knee and rise up with control. And exhale, skandasana. Pivot on your front toes. Open up towards the side. Yogis, big inhale here. Exhale, yogi squat towards the middle. Toe heel your feet together. Second or third set rather, opening up your hips. Take a full inhale. Exhale, skandasana to the opposite edge of your mat. Work on your balance, work on your breath. Beautiful control. Big inhales here. Exhales, low lunge, pivot on that front foot, plant your hands. Inhale, crescent moon lunge. Come on down to your knee. Rise up with control. Let your core help you. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, crescent lunge. Tuck those back toes over. Rise up with control. Use your strong quads. You can always readjust your stance, but keep a deep bend in that front leg. Inhale fully. Exhale, prepare for pyramid pose. So pivot that back foot down. Walk in your stance. Square your pelvis and chest towards the front. Prayer grip at the top. Take a full inhale. Exhale, pyramid pose. Hinge from your hips. Remember to breathe. Yogis, it's not about locking out our joints or stretching our joints. This is our muscle. This is our breath. Your knees can be bent any amount here. Take a full inhale. Exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, rise up with control. Keep your biceps by your ears. With your exhale, warrior two. So readjust your stance. Maybe widen your stance. Readjust your pelvis. Inhale fully. Exhale, extended side angle. Reach forward and tick-tock your arms. Lengthen through the side ribs, front and back. Inhale here. Stay for your exhale. On your next inhale, star pose. Straighten that front leg. Find length. Readjust your toes. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, goddess pose. Back to our full moon posture here. Sit low. Open up your knees. Push your knees to the pinky toes of your feet. Big inhale here. Exhale, come to standing at the top of your mat. You can shake it out. Take any stretches that might feel good for your hips or your ankles here, but we are moving on to our core series. So we are on our mats. If that feels good for you, meet me on your mat. Yogis, this time we're gonna meet in a Supta Baddha Konasana sit-up here. So soles of the feet to touch are all that means. If that doesn't feel good for your hips, you can just do basic crunches here. Excuse me, that's what we're starting with. But Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet to touch. You still have that basket grip behind your head. Elbows are wide out of your vision. They're just basic crunches, so you exhale as you lift. It's lift and lower, lift and lower. You exhale as you lift. So find a cadence that challenges you. I can turn up the music I'm listening to if that helps you at all. But it's not necessarily about how fast we're going, it's about where we're going. So find that integrity in your posture. Where are you holding tension that you shouldn't be? This is your upper abs, lifting your chest and shoulder blades off the mat, not your neck or your shoulders. Just there for 4, just there for 3. You'll pulse it up in 2, and 1 little pulse is up. It's pulse and pulse, so small and controlled. Your nose and your heart are lifting towards the ceiling. Just there for 4, you're there for 3, hold it high. In 2, it's just a hold. In 1, hold it up, keep lifted. Shoulder blades off mat, beautiful, you got this. Zip your belly button to your spine, you got this. Just there for 4, just there for 3, take a long body stretch in 2. And 1 long body stretch. Release the tension in your jaw, in your forehead. Take some full inhales and exhales here. Listen to the soothing beat of the car alarm going off again. I should just be teaching core to the car alarm beat. All right, yogis, we did our upper abs. We're gonna work on our lower abs, and this time we're gonna do it with tabletop legs. So shins are parallel to the mat, almost like you're in tabletop, but in the air. We're just gonna start with toe taps first. So it's down and up and down and up. So yogis, with toe taps, you're hinging from your hips. You're not bending your knee. So you're extending your leg out long in front of you. We're starting small. This is a great option or alternative if reverse crunches don't feel good for your spine. Keep that 90-degree bend. You exhale as you bring it back to center with control. You're here for 4, just here for 3. You're gonna extend your right leg long in 2 and pulse in 1. So extend your right leg long and pulse. So you can make it as big or as small as you want. but never let it touch the ground. Just let it hover. Use your breath, find control. Your legs are strong, yogis, you got this. Just here for 4, just here for 3, swap sides, in 2, and 1, switch it out, left leg long, and you pulse, and press your lower back into the mat to support your core. Beautiful. Remember to breathe. Zip your belly button to your spine. Almost done. You're here for 4, just here for 3. Make them flutter kicks in 2 and 1. So both leg long, and you kick and kick, little flutter kicks, as big or as small as you want. You almost got this. You're done in 4. You're done in 3. Take a long body stretch in 2 and 1. Long body stretch. Beautiful. Full inhales and exhales. Open mouth exhales are totally fine for core. Any of that heat that you release is great. Whenever you yogis are ready, grab behind your knees. Rock and roll the length of your spine. We're going to take Russian twists for our obliques or our side body. So come to ground down on your sits bones. Find your boat pose. So boat pose Navasana. Your heart is lifted. Your feet can be on the ground or maybe off the ground. But wherever you're at, it's a side-to-side movement. It's a 3-part movement. I want you to bring your hands to heart center and keep your heart towards your thumbs as we twist. It's a right, center, and left, center. You exhale as you twist. So yogis, you should be twisting with your core. Your core should be bringing you back to center. Rock your weight back slightly until you feel your abs engaged. Again, you can keep your feet on the ground or off, but I want you to lift through the crown of your head so there's one long line through the crown of your head to the base of your spine. Find the same depth or the similar depth on each side for balance. Just here for 4, just here for 3, you'll pulse to the right, in 2, and 1, pulse it right, just for 4, just for 3, pulse it left, in 2, and 1, pulse to the left, just for 4, just for 3, find your boat pose, in 2, and 1, boat pose Navasana. You can stay here, this is boat pose. If you want to challenge your balance, maybe there's more weight in your seat rather than your feet. You can lift your legs. You can straighten your legs. You can bring your hands, but keep your heart lifted like there's a line pulling it up. You're here for 4, just here for 3. Find your low boat in 2 and 1. Lower down just for 4, just for 3. Back to high boat in 2 with control. In 1, high boat. You're here for 4. You're here for 3, back to low boat, in 2, it's the last time, in 1, low boat, just for 4, just for 3, take a long body stretch in 2, and 1, you're done. All right, great job. Yogis, unclench your jaw, windshield wiper your knees to get into your hips, maybe your low back. Take any stretches that feel good. You have about 45 seconds before we meet in down dog. So if you want to grab water, towel off, curse my name, would never know. All right, yogis, we have our triangle sequence and then our half moon, which is a little bit of balancing, and our toppling tree into standing splits, which is also balancing. So slowly, whenever you're ready, start to make your way back into that downward facing dog. So hips come high. You're bringing your chest towards your thighs. Feet can be hip width distance apart or wider, but press into the L shapes of your palms. Release your shoulders down your back, away from your ears. Let's unite our breath together here, yogis. Exhale everything out. Take a full inhale, fill up with air behind your heart and your back. Exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, reach your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step or guide your foot between your hands. Inhale, warrior 2, pivot your back foot down, wind open right away. Exhale, straighten your front leg. Inhale, bump your hips back, and exhale, triangle pose here. So triangle pose, press the back of your hand into somewhere along your leg, lift your side body, you're lengthening through both ends of your side. Remember to breathe. Beautiful triangles. On your next inhale, rise up, arms come to a T. And with your exhale, pivot all 10 toes in the same direction. We're gonna take a wide-legged forward fold here. So as you inhale to prepare, puff up your chest. With your exhale, dive down, hinge from your hips, and you're there for a handful of breaths. So movement or stillness or any other stretches that might feel good here. You can walk one hand to one foot and then the other, or bend either knee. And yogis, whenever you're ready, slowly come back to center. Engage your strong core. It should be warmed up on an inhale. So rise up, reach to the crown of your head. Arms come to a T. Beautiful. And exhale, warrior two to the front. Re-invite that bend in that front leg. Inhale, reverse triangle. Straighten your front leg. Lift through your side body. Exhale, high to low plank chaturanga. First one of class, if you would like to take it. Cartwheel down. Breath to movement. Find your vinyasa flow. So inhales for upward facing dog, exhales for downward facing dog. Beautiful. We'll take that triangle sequence on the opposite side. Inhales, reach your left leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step or guide your foot between your hands. Inhale, warrior two, right away, pivot that back foot down, wide open. Exhale, straighten your front leg to prepare. Inhale, reach forward, and exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana. Tick-tock your arms. Stable and strong in both legs. Both feet are grounded. Core is lifted. You're lengthening through the crown of your head, supporting yourself. Beautiful triangles. On your next inhale, slowly rise up. Arms come to a T. With your exhale, pivot all 10 toes in the same direction. We'll take a wide-legged forward fold again. If you would like to do a chest expansion or anything else, feel free to do so. Either way, inhales to prepare you. Exhales to execute, so hinge from your hips and dive down. And again, handful of breaths, so work on finding whatever stretch is needed here right now. Know that you can release your chest expansion when you feel it no longer serves you. Be flexible, not just physically, but mentally, right? We feel so rigid and we work out of habit a lot, so working on that intentional movement here. Yogis, slowly come back to center with control. On an inhale, rise up, arms come to a T. Engage your core. With your exhale, warrior two to the front. Re-invite that bend in that front leg. Inhale, reverse warrior. Straighten your front leg, lengthen through your ribs. Exhale, high to low plank chaturanga, pivot and cartwheel. Find your vinyasa flow if you would like. Inhales for upward facing dog. Exhales for downward facing dog. Yogis, take a full inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, reach your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step or guide your foot between your hands. Inhale, crescent lunge, rise up with control. Both feet are off the ground. Both feet are not off the ground, but both feet are grounded, but no knees on the ground. Both feet, you're flying. Inhale here. Exhale, airplane arms, sweep back, palms face down. Inhale, warrior two, pivot your back foot down, wind open, readjust your stance. Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten your front leg, we were just here. And exhale, half moon pose, so you're launching off that back foot, leaning towards the front. You can bring your fingertips to the mat, or maybe let them rest on something. Sometimes a block, a water bottle might be helpful. Work on stacking your hips on top of one another like a star pose in space. You're just here for 3. Warrior two is your release into. And 1, warrior two, bend that standing leg, slowly land and find strength in your position here. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, pivot to crescent lunge. So sweep that arm forward, pivot on your hips so you're facing one direction here and you're on your back toes here. Inhale fully. Exhale, open arm twist towards the right. So easy twist, crossing through the midline of your body, opening up that right shoulder here. Take a full inhale. With your exhale, bring that left palm towards the mat. Keep that twist so you're reaching almost like an easy open twist from the ground here. Full inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Plant that opposite hand to either side of that foot. On an inhale, high plank position, reach your right leg back and then zip your feet together. Yogi, slowly start rocking weight into the left side of your body, preparing for side plank. As you inhale for side plank, arms come to a T, bump your hips up towards the ceiling. Yogis, if you'd like to find tree pose in side plank, you can bring the sole of your foot to your calf. Maybe float your top leg or come on down to your bottom knee or do both. But remember to breathe. You're just there for 3. High plank is your release in 2. And 1, exhale, high plank. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale fully. Exhale deeply. Opposite side, here we go. Inhale, reach your left leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step or guide your foot between your hands. Inhale, crescent lunge, rise up, use your core with control. Exhale, airplane arms, keep your legs, but sweep your heart forward. Inhale, warrior 2, pivot your back foot down, wind open, and stay for your exhale. Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten your front leg to prepare you, lift through your side body, and exhale, half moon. So reaching towards the opposite side, launching off that back foot. Gaze can be down at the floor or forward or at your hand, but you're balancing on your left foot. You've got this. Yogis, you're just here for 3. Land in your warrior 2 in 2. And 1, bend your standing leg, ground down softly in your toes and find that warrior 2 stance. Inhale fully. Exhale, crescent lunge, so sweep that right arm forward, pivot to the opposite edge. Option to adjust your stance any amount here, but you're standing on your back toes. Inhale fully. Exhale, open arm twist, opposite side, sweeping your left arm back, opening up through that left shoulder, using your core to pivot you here. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Inhale fully. Exhale, easy open twist. So ground that right hand with control onto the mat. Lift through your side body towards the ceiling. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, low lunge. Gently plant your hands to either side. Inhale to a high plank. So zip both feet back. And then slowly start rocking weight into the right side of your body. So your opposite hand is supporting you this time. Inhale for side plank and continue to breathe here. No holding your breath in this isometric hold. If you'd like to take that tree pose in this stance, maybe the sole of your foot comes to your calf. Float your top leg or come on down to your bottom knee, but bump your hips forward. You're just there for 3. High plank is your release in 2. And 1, exhale to a high plank. Yogis, take a big inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Yogis, inhale fully and exhale deeply. We're moving on to a balancing series here, and then we will get into, if we have time for an inversion practice, otherwise just a couple balancing postures, and then we'll get into some stretching. Wherever you're at, on your next inhale, reach your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step or guide your foot between your hands. And inhale, warrior 1. So pivot your back foot down. We haven't been here yet before for this sequence. Warrior 1, you have warrior legs. So both soles, all soles of your feet are grounded, but you're facing towards the front. So your chest, maybe your pelvis is a little more square towards the front, and then your biceps are out of your ears, so down your back here, yogis. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, rotate your shoulders back, interlace your fingers. We're taking humble warrior. So inhale, puff up your chest, little chest expansion. Exhale, humble warrior, hinge from your hips, dive down, and release any expectation of how this practice should have looked or felt. Work on bringing that shoulder towards that knee. And remember to breathe. Humble warriors, on your next inhale, rise up with control. Use your strong core. Keep that chest expansion grip. You can redo your grip if you'd like, but we're heading into chest expansion airplane here. So inhale to prepare you. Exhale, airplane pose with that chest expansion. So your airplane legs, you're standing on that right foot, left foot lifts, heart leads. Take an inhale here. And with your exhale, toppling tree, hinge from your hips, start to dive down. And yogis, once you find the ground, you can release your fingertips for standing splits. We're not here long. If you'd like to walk your fingertips back towards your feet a little more, maybe wrap around your calf for standing splits. But you are just there for 3. Land in your low lunge in 2. And 1 low lunge, so ground that left foot here. Yogis, inhale, 3-legged dog, right leg sweeps high. Exhale, downward facing dog, feet come together. We'll take that series on the opposite side. With your next inhale, reach your left leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step or guide your foot between your hands. Inhale, warrior 1, so pivot that back foot down, wind open facing the front, so squaring your chest and your hips, still pushing through the nice edge of that back foot here. You can always widen your stance in warrior stances. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, rotate those shoulders back, interlace your grip, maybe in the opposite direction. Either way, inhales to prepare you. Exhale, humble warrior, dive down, hinge from your hips. Let that head hang heavy. Let your jaw be loose. Humble warriors, on your next inhale, slowly rise up. Use your core to protect your low back. Readjust your grip behind you as you inhale to prepare. Exhale, airplane with that chest expansion. Launch off that back foot. Find your balance, find your drishti, this gaze, this unmoving focal point. Yogis, inhale fully. Exhale, toppling tree. Start to hinge from your hips. You can have a slight bend in that standing leg. And once you get low, release your grip for standing splits. Squeeze your glute to lift that heel. Squeeze your inner thighs together to find stability. Yogis, you're just there for 3. Low lunge as you release in 2. And 1, exhale to that low lunge. Inhale, 3-legged dog, sweep that left leg high. Exhale, downward facing dog, feet come together. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, look forward. Exhale, step through, come and have a seat. How's everyone feeling? Good. The sequence got away from me. I feel like my timing is a little crazy. Hopefully you feel okay. This is the time that I usually leave for any inversion practice. If you guys have an inversion in your practice that you want to try on, we have a little over a minute here. I've been demoing a tripod headstand. It's kind of accessible if someone doesn't have a headstand in their practice, if this is something that they want to go for. But if you don't have the space, or if you don't have an inversion in your practice, that's totally fine. I figured this would be a great one because we've been doing so much wide-legged forward fold or wide-legged things. And it is an arm balance, but you also have a little bit of weight in your head. You don't want to just rely completely on your head and your neck, but you bring your knees towards your elbows, almost like a flying frog in space. So I approach it from a wide-legged forward fold. I ground down through my crown of my head, bring my knees onto my elbows, and then try to lift my feet. And then yogis, this can be kind of an introductory for a headstand, taking that narrower stance and then using your core to lift your hips over your shoulders. But if you don't have one or you don't want to do one today, that is totally fine. That is your choice. This is your practice. We'll eventually meet in a child's pose in a little less than a minute here. And yogis, if you'd like, start to make your way back to a child's pose. It's a great posture to really stretch out your shoulders and your hips if that feels good for you today. For a while, I struggled with the idea of even keeping inversions in our practice while we're doing this virtual yoga, because it can feel a little maybe potentially dangerous depending on what you're teaching. But I think this idea of there's already so much shaken up within our schedule that keeping a sequence or a flow feels really good for me. So I always like to keep it here. Yogis, we're moving on to some last stretches. We'll get a lot of hip work here. So whenever you're ready, slowly make your way to a tabletop position. So shift forward and then curl your toes under, send your hips high, find downward facing dog here. Let's unite our breath together. Yogis, exhale everything out of your lungs. Take a big inhale, fill up with air. Exhale, just let it all go. Beautiful. On an inhale, reach your right leg high. And exhale, scorpion. So bend your knee, open up your hips, also called scorpion down dog. If you'd like to take some ankle circles or knee circles or hip circles, yogis, unsure about your space, but if you'd like to flip your dog, slowly with control, land softly on your toes, taking this back bend or front bend, lift your heart towards the ceiling. And then flip dogs. Whenever you're ready, slowly come back to center. Scorpions on an inhale, straighten that leg, and with your exhale, half pigeon. So sweep that knee towards the front of your mat. You can always take this on your back if this doesn't feel good for your hips. With an inhale, puff up, square your chest. With your exhale, melt down, fold over your shin onto your mat. And yogis, let your head hang heavy on something. Release any weight held in your elbows or shoulders. Pigeons with an inhale, slowly push yourself back up to center. And with that exhale, find a downward facing dog. Send your hips high, pedal it out, and we'll take that sequence on the opposite side. So with an inhale, reach your left leg high, and then exhale, scorpion or scorpion down dog. Open up your hip, bend your knee, maybe ankle circles or knee circles. If you'd like to flip your dog, be mindful of your space, but pivot on that foot, land with control, softly on your toes, and lift your heart. Flip dogs whenever you're ready. You can slowly come back to center. Scorpions on an inhale, straighten that front leg. With exhale, half pigeon. Yogis, if you took this on your back, you can swap out your legs. Either way, don't make this look like the other side. Our hips are very different. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, melt down onto your mat, hinge over. Feel this as a lower body stretch and start to return to a natural breath. Pigeons with an inhale, slowly push yourself back up to center. With your exhale, find the last downward facing dog. Send your hips high, pedal it out to get some blood flow in that leg. With your next inhale, look forward. Exhale, step through, come and have a seat. We'll take a seated forward fold here. Know that your knees can be bent any amount. It kind of helps tilt that tailbone back slightly if you're trying to get into your low back a little more than your legs. Either way, wherever you're at, seated forward fold. Inhales, find length. Exhales, find depth. So hinge from your hips, yogis. And once you find your edge, then let your head drop. Bring your chest towards your thighs. Yogis, on your next inhale, slowly rise up one vertebra at a time. Bend your knees any amount it takes to wrap your peace fingers around your big toes. And then slowly start to rock back. I realize you can't even see me. Slowly start to rock back into your happy baby here. So happy baby, finding a little bit of that momentum to massage out our low back. You can kick into either hand to really stretch out your hamstrings here. But movement or stillness, just start to play around with that stretch. And then happy babies, do find some stillness here. Extend your left leg long. Keep your right knee into your chest, wrap around your shin, and with an inhale, give that leg a big hug. And with your exhale, supine spinal twist, gently guide your knee across your body here. Letting gravity do the work. Yogis, slowly guide yourself back to center with control and swap out your legs here. Extend your other leg long. Bring your other knee into your chest. As you inhale, give that one a big hug. And with your exhale, supine spinal twist, guide it across your body. Yogis, with control, guide your knee back to center. Bring both knees into your chest to square your spine onto the mat. Wrap around your shins. Give yourself a big hug and take a big full breath here. Really fill up. Big inhale. And exhale, release. Final Shavasana. Allow your body to take up as much space as you would like on your mat here. We'll be here a little over a minute, and I'll guide us out when it's time. Yogis, know that you can stay here as long as you'd like. This rest is just as much a part of growth as that productivity, that movement. If you'd like to continue with the rest of your Sunday, invite some organic movement into your body, some intentional, slow breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes, unclench your jaw. Yogis, if you'd like, with an inhale, find a long body stretch. And with your exhale, fetal asana, fetal position on either side of your body, using your bicep as a pillow. This posture is symbolic of regrowth. How have you grown in the last week, or the last month, or the last year? What choices have you made that have helped you to refine the ways in which you do grow? Do you feel good about the way you show up for yourself and for other people? This self-care isn't just me first, it's me too. If you would like, with an inhale, slowly push yourself up to a seated position facing the front. You can keep your eyes closed or softened, but maybe call to mind whatever intention you set at the beginning of class, whether it was a person you wanted to dedicate your energy and time to, or a theme or idea that you've been working on. Wherever it's at, if it feels authentic to you, you can bring your hands to heart center and your thumbs to your hearts for kindness in our actions. Thumbs to our lips to signify kindness in our words, and thumbs to third eye center, the space between our eyebrows, for kindness in our thoughts, most especially towards ourselves. Bowing forward, we seal in our practice today. Namaste. Thank you.